Hello, hello to anyone who's coming in early. Gonna get my slides all set. How we doing, guys? Happy Thursday. Super excited for you to be here. If you're jumping early, drop your name and where you're joining us from in the chat. And if you have any issues joining the chat, it might make you log into YouTube. So go ahead and click that login, and then you'll want to make sure to come back to this tab. But it should give you a separate tab, so you should be good to go. And I need to turn off my volume here. Hi, Emily from Miami. Super excited. Can you see my slides, Emily? Yay, I got a heart. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, super excited. We're 5 minutes early. Oh, we have 7 viewers already. Hi, guys. Welcome. So glad you can join early. If you'd like, go ahead and share your name and where you are zooming in from. I know it's not Zoom, it's YouTube, but that's like our term now. Like Kleenex is for tissues. It's just Zoom, no matter what. I feel like the light is a little strong. Let's turn that down. Poco mejor, poco mejor. All right. And Emily, you can hear me okay? Muy bien. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Excited to get started. Emily, if you want to share with the group, how old is your baby? Hi, Jess from New Jersey. Welcome. So glad you're here. So glad you're here. How'd you find out about this? How'd you find out about this? Tammy from Miami. Welcome. I love that. Welcome, welcome. Hi, I'm from Pompano. So glad you're here. Emily, your baby is 8 weeks old today. Oh my goodness. That's amazing. Congrats. That's a big deal. That's a big milestone. And Jess, you found out about us from an influencer. How fun. I'm so glad. Hallie from Pembroke Pines, and your baby was 8 weeks yesterday. Oh my gosh, Hallie, congratulations. That's glorious. You should meet Emily. She's your new best friend. She just had a baby 8 weeks ago as well. He is delicious, and he has so much hair, just like black spiky hair everywhere. And he's gordito, so chunky. Wish you guys could share pictures of your babies. Except that's all he would do is look at the pictures of babies and not be able to pay attention to our webinar. So, you know, but who doesn't mind being distracted by gorgeous babies? So fun, so fun. All right, so Hallie, I'm glad you're here. Jess, Emily, Tammy, Amy, thank you so much for being here. We're going to get started in just a few minutes. We have over 300 moms registered for this webinar. Super excited. I've actually done this presentation countless times. Normally we do it in person. We'll meet at a doctor's office or a birth house, something like that. And everybody brings their babies. And Jen is here. Hi, Jen from Plantation. Thank you so much for being here. It is almost officially time to start. I was listening to Mark Anthony before, so I'll be dancing salsa the whole time. Don't you worry. It's going to be a show. It'll be great. All right. Tammy, can you tell us how old your kids are or baby? And Jess, did you tell us? You said you're from New Jersey, which is amazing. Thank you for joining. You're on East Coast time like us. Jen, how old are your babies? Tammy, don't be embarrassed, Tammy. You are welcome here. It's okay if your babies are 20, 30. It's allowed, I promise. I promise. 21, 9, 8, and 7. God bless. Round of applause for Tammy. It's a lot of babies back to back. Goodness. And Jen, your babies are 11 and 9. Beautiful. I love this. I love it for us. That's amazing. Our bodies are always ready to heal. You are not too late. Your babies are not too old. I promise. I promise. Right, Tammy? I'm so proud of you. You came back to the drawing board and had more babies. And you have an adult who can have a drink. Jess, your baby's 9 months old. I love that. Oh, so sweet. So sweet. And you have a 13-year-old boy, I know, right? Yep, I do too. I do too. We'll talk about that soon. Well, hey guys, we've got almost 30 moms on the webinar. I know we have a couple hundred, a little over 300 that we're waiting to join. So let's get started. I would love to hear from every single one of you today. This is interactive on purpose. We are here to serve you. So if you have a question, you can throw it in the chat at any time. I'm going to pause throughout the presentation and make sure I answer your questions. That is my primary goal today, you guys. Primary goal is to make sure you leave with something tangible, helpful, practical that will serve you. So I'm going to ask again from the top, if you guys can put your names, where you're zooming in from, state, city, anything like that, country. We have a few from London, Australia. Super excited. Lots of countries represented here today. And please tell me how old your children are. Children. If you don't have any babies, you can throw in information about a fur baby. We love them all. So thank you for being here. I will start, of course, with an introduction and share a little bit about me, because why should you be listening to me? Oh, Tamara, welcome from New York. 4.5 and 1.5-year-old boys. You got 2 little boys. Oh, and Jonathan has a 4-year-old baby. That's beautiful. So I will share my answer. My name is Kat Vigo. I am a doctor of physical therapy, and I am the founder of Painless Pregnancy. So I got my doctorate in 2005 at the University of Florida. Go Gators. And I became a women's health specialist in 2012. So that is, how many years is that, guys? 17 years that I've been a doctor. I'm not a mathematician. So if the numbers don't add up, really okay. All right, so my story is, St. Petersburg, your first girl is due any day now. Round of applause for Michaela. So glad you're here. On Tamara from New York, but you live in Florida. So glad you're here. And Gloria from Tampa Bay. We service Tampa. Gloria, I'm so glad you're here. And you have almost 8-month-old boy. Okay, and you've got some health stuff going on. Well, you are who we serve. That's amazing. We're so glad you're here. Tony from Cocoa, 14-year-old and a 5-month-old boy. You're like me. My babies are so far apart. It's beautiful. Embrace it. I love it. And Paige, thank you, 2-year-old girl and 8 months pregnant with another girl. Oh my gosh. Congrats, Paige. That's amazing. That's amazing. Hi, Tammy. And yes, you can absolutely always be working on your abdomen, whether you're pregnant, whether you're postpartum. It's all good. And Gloria, almost 9 months old. Okay. Well, thanks for being here. Keisha from Seattle. And Dash. Hi. Thank you. Thank you. And Jess has a 4-year-old also. I love this. Look at all these amazing moms, you guys. Round of applause for all the phenomenal women who took a beat out of their day to be here and learn more about their abdomen. Heck yeah. All right. So as I had started, I'm going to introduce myself. We're going to go through some content, and I will stay at the end to answer your questions. You are why I'm here. So don't hesitate to reach out. Tell me in the chat where you're from and how old your babies are if you haven't done so yet. We're so glad you're here. Over 50 moms here to take care of themselves. Thank you. All right. So, like I said, doctor of physical therapy, go Gators. I started Painless Pregnancy in 2017 out of a huge need. So, this is, think 17 years ago, right, guys? You're with me? World is very different. I went to, well, no, sorry, it's not 17 years ago. It's 13 years ago because my boy is 13. I had a healthy pregnancy, ended up being induced. And now listen, want to be so clear, there's lots of good reasons to be induced. I just didn't happen to have a good reason to be induced. And my first delivery ended up in a 4th-degree tear and a 7-pound boy who was pushed to be delivered early because he was going to be big. So that is what I had, a brand new booty hole, thanks to my boy. And that also pushed me into a world of pelvic health that I didn't know I was interested in. But it turns out I am. And I'm very, very glad that I experienced that trauma because it led me to dive into this specialty, serve amazing women like you, and give you voice to not suffer in silence. So, round of applause for us. We got Jenna from Miami, Carolina, and Ricky. Yay, I'm so glad you guys are here. All right. So, like I said, we're going to do a brief presentation about what diastasis is, why physical therapy is the only answer, and why painless pregnancy is hands down the ultimate solution to this condition. And yes, I will stay to answer your questions. So, if at any point in time I say something that doesn't make sense, please interrupt me. Please interrupt me and tell me that we want to hear it in a different way, okay? I am not here to hear myself talk. Okay, so why are we talking about diastasis? The belly, the postpartum belly, or the pregnant belly. The issue that I have been encountering as a doctor of physical therapy who communes with over 20 other amazing doctors of physical therapy who specialize in this program. Yes, we are a team of over 20 PTs. We have noticed that diastasis gets a ton of action. I mean, people are Googling it, they're researching it on Instagram and TikTok, and they're doing everything they can to learn about this condition in an effort to take care of themselves, which is amazing. And I am thrilled that there are tons of information because what I used to see was massive gaps in knowledge. So yes, it's great that there's information, but the issue that I found was when women would come to the clinic, and I worked at an outpatient clinic for over a decade before I started Painless Pregnancy. When women would come in with problems, back pain, prolapse, urinary leakage, and they would tell me, I know I have diastasis, I know this, but I follow Steph Bruce online, and she has a severe diastasis, and she runs. So I thought it would be okay for me to run 3 miles. And if I listen to her story, it's like she was grabbing information from that World Wide Web and applying it to her body, her unique, different body, and trying to carry out someone else's exercise plan or someone else's path to recovery. I saw the same issue with early programs that were just on video, like here's an exercise program to do after you have a baby. And as a doctor of physical therapy who specializes in this situation, I realized that this was not only not a great solution, but for a handful of women that I saw in the clinic, it was causing problems. I mean, her uterus used to be up in her body, and when I met her, it was down the vaginal canal. Not what you want. Not what you want. So that was my struggle with diastasis becoming famous, is there's so many facts, but these women didn't know what specifically applied to them. Okay, so I thought, let me know in the chat if you think this is a good idea. I would love to start with some myths. Who's ready to bust some myths? Go ahead and drop it in the chat. Oh yeah, we are in Miami, Fort Lauderdale area. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We are. Thank you for being here, Dr. Simone. Yay, so glad. Okay, So, some myths. Here are some things that I have been hearing for 20 years about this condition. Let me know if these sound familiar to you. The first myth. Well, I know since I have diastasis, I am not supposed to do any ab exercises. Have you guys heard that? No ab exercises, right? Or obviously, I can't do planks or sit-ups. A recipe of do's and don'ts. How about I have a 4-finger separation, so therapy won't help me. This concept that the abs are so far apart, clearly I need surgery. And then this idea of time frame, putting a limit on how long you can go from your delivery to recovery. So my delivery was 5 years ago. Do I need surgery? All right, let's bust these myths out. Wide open. Here we go. The idea that you're not supposed to do any ab exercises. Now, I will admit this is something that I heard a lot 5 years ago, and it's starting to turn a corner, but I want to be abundantly clear. Diastasis is a muscle problem, and it deserves a muscle solution. Exercises will be a part of your path to recovery. Promise. Not to do planks or sit-ups. So this idea that there's a recipe for how you can, for do's and don'ts with exercises. We do some form of a plank or a sit-up almost always, and sometimes on the first visit, you guys, for assessment. And so I love breaking this myth open because it also shares how not fragile we are. If you have a severe diastasis, anything, if I'm getting several fingers between your six-pack muscles, I'm still going to put you in multiple positions and see how your abs behave. You are stronger than you think. And I have a 4-finger separation, so therapy won't help me. What we're learning, guys, latest research here is that the distance between the six-pack muscles is actually not as important or as indicative of your capacity to heal, as is the softness or the laxity of your linea alba, which is the tissue between your six-pack muscles, okay? So let's talk about time frame. My delivery was 5 years ago. What about our friend Tammy? She's got a 21-year-old. She's here because she knows that this is going to help her. So there is no timeline to rehab. Early intervention is always best. The moment you find out there's a solution to your problem, you take that solution and you go with it. And you don't have to exclude yourself from healing because the problem happened a long time ago. I've seen 20-year-old scars gain mobilization. I've seen a 30-year-old back injury gain movement between the segments. I've seen a weak arm that was flaccid for decades from a stroke gain strength. Your body is miraculous and it can heal. Sometimes you just need some guidance, okay? So as far as these myths go, my goal is to stop the madness. And Phoebe would agree. We need to stop the madness. And so how do we do that, ladies? How do we get out of the crazy cycle of hearing too much information, seeing these myths, wondering what's true? Time to stop, right? And look, our girl Jess is dealing with low back pain and hip pain, 2 C-sections. Yeah, it's really hard. It's a lot on our bodies. If you've been through it, you know it's a lot on our bodies. And yeah, Emily has heard that she shouldn't work on her core while pregnant because it'll give her diastasis. Oh no, so many myths. All right, so it stops today, right, ladies? Today is the first day of the rest of your life. You're going to learn some new stuff. You're going to be the smartest one in your Mommy and Me group, and you're going to share this information. Okay, so what is diastasis? It is when your abs, your six-pack muscles, are separated. Now, wherever you're at, everyone put a fist forward And yeah, it would be pretty cool if we did a massive fist bump of all 300 of us. But instead of that, I'm going to have you put your fist forward and take one finger out and place that finger between any knuckle, between any two knuckles. Okay. When you go to one side and the other side, you should see a certain amount of distance. This is how far apart your six-pack muscles should be. Okay. Now at your belly button, it might be a little wider, and that's totally within normal, but this is a tight one finger gap, and that is normal. Diastasis is when those muscles are anywhere more than a tight one finger. During pregnancy, they separate very often. Here I'm showing anywhere from 66%, so anywhere from 2/3 of women, to 100% of women who carry babies through that third trimester. The problem is when they don't go back together postpartum, or when they don't perform properly for you postpartum. Okay, so even if they are resting tight together, but your back hurts, you can't really gain core strength or progress with your core program, then we know that that is a problem. Okay, so we're going to chat about the different types of diastasis, and that can be depending on the location within your abdomen, whether it presents in certain ways, so doming, bulging, sinking in, and what causes them. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. All right, so this here, for me, it's the top left of my screen, is a normal abdomen. So like you can see, right, the six-pack muscles, and there's a line down the middle. So pretty, a little bit bigger by the belly button. The next one over is a diastasis, or a separation at the belly button. Okay, so that's one way, one location it can present in. Here is below the belly button, above, and the whole length of the abdomen. Go ahead and drop in the chat if you want to guess. There is a type of diastasis that is very common amongst athletic women. So my Pilates instructors, my CrossFitters, which one do you think it is? At the belly button, below, above, whole length. What would you guess? Yeah, below. Good guess. Thank you, Emily. At the belly button or the whole length. We got all the options here. All the options. Nice work, ladies. So the most common one for our moms who are high-level athletes, Pilates instructors, CrossFitters, above the belly button. Above the belly button is a very common one. Good guess, guys. Good guess. Okay, so how does it present? It can present like doming. And this is really common. It looks like a triangle, a football. Some of my moms will say, an alien is coming out of my stomach. And I'm like, well, I mean, I understand why you would feel that way, but there's no alien. There's also a bulging type. So it's where you lift your head and your whole abdomen goes from whatever shape it is at rest to a whoom, like a big, one of my mentors calls it a puffer fish, which I don't know. Is that offensive? Maybe a little bit. And then the third way it can present is a sinking in, or you could say an invagination. So the space between the two six-pack muscles sinks down towards your spine. Give me a hand raise if you guys recognize yourself in this, any of those three presentations. Do you dome? Do you bulge like a puffer fish? Or does yours sink in? Let me know. Jennifer has the bulging one. Okay. All right. She thinks, because sometimes, you don't know. You don't know. All right. And Carolina, yours sinks in. Okay. Yeah. That's less common, but definitely something that can be recovered. Yeah. And another sink. Okay. Interesting. Wow. What are the chances? Look at us. We're such a unique group, ladies. Such a unique group. All right. So I threw this slide in here because I really want to emphasize the fact that your linea alba, this skin in between the six-pack muscles that we're all here to learn about, is structurally made up of fibers from all 4 muscle groups in the abdomen. Okay, your rectus, the more superficial, your 2 oblique groups, internal and external, and your deeper ab muscles, transverse abdominis. All 4 create the linea alba. All 4 need to be addressed. Now, this is important, you guys. The bones that hold the muscle groups that we're talking about, the 4 abdominal muscle groups, those muscles grab onto ribs and they grab onto pelvises. So if your rib cage, I'm going to stand up for a second. Hopefully you guys can see me. Your rib cage is the attachment point for 6-pack muscles. So when your rib cage widens, it comes apart and it tips back during pregnancy, right? You could totally put a pregnant belly here. When those ribs change shape, your abdomen has no option but to widen with it. And so ideally, the baby vacates the area, ribs come back down. Oftentimes they don't. Sometimes they just need a little help. Oh, you can't see the picture. Thank you, Tammy. I know. Isn't that wild? I have not figured out how to move my camera, but I'm going to shift it up for you. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's super helpful. Yeah, I don't know how to move the camera, but next time I will figure it out. Okay. So, and I'll put this up a little bit. Pressure management. All right. Y'all ready for some activity together? We're going to do it. Sit up nice and tall and place your hands on your belly. So below bra line and right around that belly button. Place your hands there and give yourself a big cough. Like really cough. Now, did your hands go out into the world or did your hands go into yourself towards your spine? Put out or in? Tell me where your hands went when you gave yourself a big cough. Which way? Oh, you're pregnant. Yes. Good for you, Marwa. Yay. All right. So Dr. Simone's belly went in. Imie's went out. Tammy went in. Okay. So we have some ins. Yes. Okay. So spoiler alert. In a healthy, pressurized abdomen, the cough will cause your abdominal muscles to go in towards your spine. Okay, it's a normal pressure management response. Like when you sneeze, your eyes close. That is how it should be. Your pelvic floor should contract, your abdominal wall should contract, and all the pressure should go out of your throat. When you have a bowel movement, you should close off at your glottis, close off at your diaphragm, stomach contracts, and pelvic floor relaxes and opens, and you have your bowel movement. This abdominal canister is pressurized. We know that. We know that if somebody pushes into my stomach, it'll dislodge a piece of stuck food. There's a pressure relationship. So when we have diastasis and we're not managing our pressures well, so let's say every time we cough, our abdomen pushes out or our pelvic floor pushes down. We're not managing our pressures the correct way, the way our bodies were designed to do. And that can, not that it's going to worsen your diastasis, but it can prevent it or make it harder for you to be on that path of healing, for you to see a flatter, stronger abdomen. Does that make sense? You guys with me on that? Okay, so another component of healing your diastasis more holistically is your posture. And I know you guys are going to be like, oh, posture. Yes, I know. It is so hard to sit properly for a long time, period. But when you add an ever-growing baby in your arms, it feels impossible to have good posture, like not even in the realm of potential. I know it. It really is truly very tricky. So What I will say is how you hold and use your body every day, all day long, matters. So, what I want to emphasize here is that your abdominal wall is postural in nature. It has some fibers, most of the fibers are what we call slow twitch, which means they are activated all day. They're helping you stay upright. Here's the secret, guys. Here's something you want to lean in and listen to. If you sit and stand tall or with good posture, your abdomen will get stronger all day long, even without laying down and doing exercises, even without driving to the yoga studio. Your abs can get stronger all day long if you sit properly and engage them. Okay? So, where you're sitting now, I want you to come up as tall as you can, place both feet on the floor, and imagine, listen to this cue, it's such an important cue. Imagine that you're pulling your two hip bones, those two pointy hip bones, together. Imagine you're pulling them together. They won't go anywhere, but just pretend. Just imagine. You should feel your abdomen contract right below that belly button. You should feel it get firm under your fingers and then relax it. Okay? Imagine you could pull your rib cage together. Close your rib cage like a book right here. Close your rib cage like a book. Pull your hip bones together. Zip up from pubic bone to rib cage. Let that whole abdomen be strong. And now relax it. Okay? When you're sitting up tall, you can activate your abdominal muscles with those cues. Now, what I want you to do is slouch. Give me the worst posture imaginable. Look at that kitty on the screen. Maybe you can't see it because my picture's there. I want you to see the worst posture imaginable. Be that bad posture. And now try to pull your hip bones together. Try to pull your rib cage together. Try to zip up from pubic bone to abdomen. It is so much harder. It is so much harder. Jen says, that kitty is me. Oh, that's great. I love it. We all empathize with that cat. Yes, Paige, such a good question. You can do everything I'm recommending during pregnancy. Yes. If you have a pregnant belly, you can imagine pulling your hip bones together. You can imagine closing your rib cage, zipping up your abs from pubic bone to rib cage. Yes, please do it, Paige. Love it. Tell us how far along you are. You might have already told us. I don't remember, but I'm so glad you're here. Awesome, awesome. Okay, so the test, as you know, when you lift your head up, we press our fingers at the belly button, above and below. Okay, and we're looking for so many things. So Diana says she's the kitty when she's breastfeeding. You guys are great. Oh, and Paige has an 8-month-old. Yeah, beautiful. Love it. And 8-month-olds are big. Holding those babies, then it is no joke. It is no joke. All right, so let's talk about a few examples. Who doesn't love pictures? I love pictures. This is a pregnant mom in her early second trimester, already started showing signs of diastasis. Can you guys see on the left? She has that thin cone coming up. See, her six-pack muscles are not that far apart, but the tissue between is not managing her pressures. So we did some rib cage work, fascial release around her abdomen, taught her deep core activation, and in that same visit, she was able to lift her head without any doming. Now, this is one of my first painless pregnancy patients. She was so fantastic. Her goal with healing her diastasis, and it was significant. She had an 8-finger separation. I've had a handful of those over the years, and that's a lot. It's a lot of separation. Her main goal was to decrease what she called the hangover, which is not how you feel after a night out. It was, to her, it was how much her skin was hanging over her pants. She took a picture only 4 weeks after working with us, and she was so pleased that the amount of distension of her abdomen, or how far out it was, and her hangover, or how far down her abdomen hung, past her C-section scar was already visibly reduced. She was very happy about that. Oh, Margarita, welcome. It looks like your belly. You're not alone, girl. You're an 18-month-old. Yeah, we go through a lot. All right, this is another really great example, similar to the first one, of demonstrating some doming. And then after the rib cage work, fascial release, pelvic alignment, proper core activation, she was able to pull that puppy down, flatten her abdomen, and make sure that it was performing properly, which is really what we want. Really what we want. Okay, so my main goal with that bit of information is to say that there is a reason why your abdomen has not healed yet. And again, distance apart, we look at it, it's important, but the tissue in between and how your abs function as a whole, how your body feels as a whole, your low back, your pelvic floor, your ability to work out, your confidence. That's really what matters, right? Like, that's why you're here. So I want you to take from this that every woman's abdomen is different. There are so many potential causes and contributions to a diastasis that has not resolved yet. It could be the structure, it could be your rib cage is too wide, it could be how you're managing pressures. Every time you cough, lift, laugh, you're pushing out of your abdomen. It could be how you're sitting all day. It could be your program, your exercise program that you're doing. All of these components need to be addressed, discussed, visited, okay? And can you do that with a hernia that pokes out? Yeah, Marcella, that's a great question, and I love your name. My boy is Marcelo. Yeah, a hernia. So it depends on how well you can manage the pressures, because if you engage your abdomen and something comes through a hernia, then we're irritating that space. You would have to press it back in, which if you have a true hernia and things are coming out, you're familiar with that act of pressing it back in. Sometimes if it's a true hernia where your guts are coming through, you can put a cotton ball and then some kinesio tape or that athletic tape, bring it in and do the exercises. But I would love to have you looked at, because it depends. Don't you love that answer? It depends. And that brings us right to an excellent point. Thank you, Marcella. Perfect timing. An individual approach is a must. We have to know who we're talking to and what we're doing. And your boy is named Marcelo? That's wild. Oh my gosh. I love that. That's my grandfather's name. My Cuban grandfather. He was Marcelo. Oh, so special. What a good day. All right. So ladies, you deserve to have your abdomen assessed. It cannot be a one size fits all. And now I really want to make sure we take time to address this question, because it comes up so much. Diastasis is not only cosmetic. Yes, you can look better. Yes, your abs can get flatter. Yes, you can achieve sexy goals. That's great. I love that. And you deserve to know that diastasis has been linked to low back pain, pelvic girdle pain, which is any kind of pain around the pelvis, pubic symphysis, sciatica, SI joint pain, tailbone pain, incontinence, where you leak urine, gas, or bowel beyond your control, hernias, Marcella, hernias, and prolapse, where organs fall out of the vaginal cavity. That's not what you want. And keep in mind, time only does so much. So at the beginning, we talked about how your body always has the capacity to heal, okay? Always. If you're on this side of the ground and you have air in your lungs and blood pumping through your heart, your body has the capacity to heal. Are there outliers who maybe need surgery and maybe have something special? Sure. And until we look at you, we don't know. But your body has the capacity to heal. Outliers are very rare, ladies. I've seen 8-finger separation. I have seen the depth so bad that I feel like I lose my hand between her 6-pack muscles. And these women get better. They get better. Now, for our girls who are pregnant right now, they're asking, what if it just goes back together postpartum on its own? Here's the answer. Whatever your diastasis is at 8 weeks postpartum, it will be, according to research, the same at 1 year postpartum without intervention. So, this is explaining that if you don't do any treatment, your body will naturally heal to 8 weeks and then almost always not show any spontaneous change through the first year. Okay? This is another statistic that I think is so important. Let's just make sure we explain this well. 92% of women who are incontinent at 12 weeks postpartum, so that means your baby turns 3 months, and you are still noticing you're peeing your pants or farting when you don't want to, or you have poop streaks in your underwears. You will remain so 5 years without intervention. This means your sweet 3-month-old that you're holding in your arms right now, that should go in timeout because they probably caused this incontinence. When you take that baby to kindergarten, 92% of women who were incontinent at 3 months will still be incontinent when that baby is in kindergarten without intervention. Recognize that. Without intervention, your body can heal. There is so much hope. Sometimes you just have to do something about it. Do something about it. Okay. How would you address a pelvic PT telling you 2 fingers is functional and closing it is cosmetic? It's a great question, Rachel. So I can understand where she's coming from. I can understand where she's coming from. 2 fingers can be functional. I mean, I've seen functional diastasis at 4 fingers. All that means, so when she says that, all that means is that she's probably not seeing your abdomen fail or perform poorly with whatever she's challenging you in. Now, if it's just a head lift, like we will test it in a head lift, but if we don't see failure, we'll do a leg lift and then a plank and all these other things. So there's ways to test it to make sure your abs are doing the best they can. But yeah, it can be functional. Closing it is cosmetic. I mean, I like to have my body lined up the way it should be. I understand where she's coming from, but you want to do whatever you can to maximize your body. Let them come together as much as you can. I wouldn't be upset if they only ever get to 2 fingers apart and you can get stronger and you know how to control your abdomen, and you're functional, like you're not peeing your pants, you don't have low back pain. But I hear where you're coming from. I just love to maximize bodies. I want to go past functional. Functional is like baseline for us. We love to see women thrive and do their best. We don't just want to get them to where there's no pain and then come out. That's very, very low goals. Very low goals. All right. So why is physical therapy the answer? Now, for those who are not familiar, physical therapy is a neuromusculoskeletal pathophysiologist. Lots of words. This means that we are experts in muscles, bones, and nerves and how they come together. When things aren't working well with muscles, bones, or nerves, or how they interact with each other, we are even more so your girl. Okay? So that is the specialty. And then Painless Pregnancy takes that expertise, neuromusculoskeletal, next level when it comes to diastasis, because we have women's health expertise. This means that we are hyper focused on all things pregnant and postpartum. We have seen thousands of abdomens, thousands of postpartum bodies. That's a lot. And it's not just we've seen them in a snapshot, but we follow our patients for years. I have patients with diastasis that I've been working with for 5 years. Now, I don't want anyone to hear that it takes 5 years to heal diastasis. Not what I said. We have been working with them for years because they are thriving. They do amazing with their therapy. They don't want it to stop. It is a solution that works for them. Love it. Amazing. Fantastic. We take women through pregnancies, prepare them for delivery, and then treat them for at least the first year postpartum. Not to say it takes a year to heal diastasis or takes a year to get incontinence under control. But what that means is we see benefits to following our patients long term because they are ever evolving. I mean, this is a body. It has gone through tremendous changes with pregnancy and will continue to recover in a fairly predictable way. We want to be a part of that and guide you through. Okay? Pelvic health doctors, obstetric doctors. That is us. And the way we set up the company, I know we got a question early on. Oh, Marwa's in constant pain. I don't like that. And the worst incontinence, girl. I've been there. I don't know if you were at the beginning of my talk, but I did sustain a 4th degree tear with my son, who is now 13 years old. So yeah, you're talking to a woman who knows what it feels like to poop pants as a full-grown adult. Not like I remember being a toddler. I remember 13 years ago. Very sad. So when I tell you I'm with you, I'm with you. I feel you. So after going through that experience with my son, having that whole trauma and recovering with my pelvic floor, became obsessed with all things pregnant and postpartum rehab. And I started to try to make it fit in the office where I worked. I worked at an outpatient clinic connected to a hospital system. I loved my job. I loved my patients. My coworkers were the best. My boss was amazing. The system was just a hot mess. And you guys know this. If you've been to physical therapy, there's 2 to 3 patients for each physical therapist. You may get 20, 25 minutes one-on-one with your PT. When you first reach out, you're going to be hit with a long wait list, quite a few months. And then when you finally do have some appointment opportunities, it's like, all we have is Wednesday at 2. And that's it. And so it was just such a struggle for me to make it fit. And then on top of that, you guys, on top of that, we were serving pregnant and postpartum women. And so it was hard for them to get out of the house on time consistently or at all, to make it in during business hours, to find childcare support. So challenging. They would cancel because the baby was, the grandma couldn't watch the baby, or it was raining, so you didn't want to take the baby out. On top of all that, insurance companies were limiting so many components of the therapy that I could provide. And now you guys know this. I work with insurance as a patient. I use it. It will tell me who I can see, what I can do, what kind of treatments I can receive. As the therapist, I would evaluate a patient and say, okay, we're going to do therapy once a week for a couple months. She's going to need her rib cage mobilized, soft tissue released, strengthening, and you would submit this whole thing to insurance, and then they would give it back to you and say, no. Excuse me? Come again? They'd be like, no, you can only do therapeutic exercise. What? When I tell you they make your healthcare choices, they make your healthcare choices. So let me share. Yeah, I'm with you, Amy. Oh, Amal, welcome. Your baby's 9 weeks old from Palestine. Welcome. Yes. So great question, Rachel, about insurance. So this is why I set up the company the way I did. I'm going to take you back for just a minute. Now, I am the middle of 6 kids, and that probably totally makes sense because I love attention, middle child syndrome. And I thought childhood equaled chaos, blissful chaos, but I thought a household full of crazy children and noise and just absolute like fighting for crayons and you're wearing my shirt and spilling milk. I thought that was childhood. My husband and I had Marcelo pretty quickly. And then I was like, oh, we're going to get pregnant again, and then again, and then again, and we're going to have 4 children, and it's going to be wonderful. Never got pregnant. And he turned 2, and he turned 3, and he turned 4. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is abuse. My boy is coming home to a quiet house. He has no siblings to rip the toys out of his hands. Nobody's pushing him over or tackling him. I gotta get pregnant. And it just wasn't happening. And so at the time, I had a girlfriend I was chatting with her, and she says to me, oh my gosh, Kat, what if you're not ovulating? You need to ovulate to get pregnant. You should go see my lady. And I was like, oh, what lady? I don't want to talk to more doctors. And she says, no. It's not like a fertility doctor. She'll do this, that, and the other for you. She'll check your blood and give you vitamins and all these things. I'm like, all right, what, where, how? She says, listen, it's concierge. You're going to pay some money and you're going to drive to West Palm, but you're going to see her because it's been 3-4 years and you're still not pregnant and you're not doing anything about it. So she was like that big sister. I don't know if you guys have an excellent big sister, but I do. And baby sister also. She was like, you're going, go. At the time, guys, this is 8 years ago. The woman, it was like $300 for the first consult. And then, a couple more follow-up visits and then more blood drawn and all these tests and all that. At the time, I was like, are you crazy? Hundreds of dollars and you don't take my insurance? It was like a big gulp for me at that time. But like I said, she was a good friend. She strongly recommended. She kind of pushed me in the pool with that. And when I tell you guys, I sat across this woman, bawled my eyes out, told her my sad story, everything I've been dealing with, and she just calmly listened. And it was as if she took that problem as her own. And she said, got it. This is what we're going to do. This is what I expect. This is the path we're going to take. And we hadn't done a single test. She hadn't gotten a bit of answer for me yet. And I felt the hope and the assurance in my soul that this was something that we could tackle together. I also knew something else in that moment, guys, that up until that point at that busy clinic, I had been a certain type of physical therapist that I did not want to be anymore. I wanted to be the type of clinician who could sit across one person, completely focus on them, absorb their problem, and with my specialty, my expertise, I wanted to fix it. Does that make sense? Is that something you guys are looking for? Because I don't know if you know, but 6 months later, I finally got pregnant with my second baby. Look at that kid holding those ultrasounds. I mean, is that so freaking cute? She is a great, great sister, Tammy. Thank you. I love her. And I love my baby. And she's so yummy. I wish she was this small sometimes. Sometimes I wish she was that small, but she's not. She's not even this small anymore. She's 6. Oh, but I love her. I'm just so obsessed. And yes, it took a lot of time. And yes, it took a lot of money. But I got what I wanted. I got what I love. And I would never go back. I've never, not once, you guys, gone back and said, oh, I wish I had those couple $1,000s in my bank. No, not for my baby. No. So that experience is why I created this. That experience is why I wanted to present the ultimate solution for this common problem. For those in the South Florida and Tampa area, and yes, we need to know what your zip code is, all of that important information to make sure that we can go to your home. TBD, it's most of South Florida, but we got to know. We bring everything you need to be successful to your front door. And is this still true if it's telehealth? Yeah, to your front door, okay? The resources that we have at your home are unparalleled. We will see exactly how your bedroom is set up, your kitchen counter, what you're doing all day long, and what is contributing to your issues. And yes, telehealth is so effective. Stay with me for just a moment, guys. If you're still here with me, I know you're interested. This is so important. If you don't live in the South Florida or Tampa area, we can still serve you. When COVID hit, overnight, we had to go to telehealth. Do you think there stopped being patients who were pregnant with pain? Women who needed to heal postpartum? Still there. We had to make it work, and we could not be physically together. We were forced behind the cameras, behind the computers and the cell phones, and it worked. Their pain went down. Their postpartum recovery was better. And it was that coaching, it was that expert guidance, it was eyes on your body that still helped. We saw outcomes with telehealth. Unreal. Unreal. You guys, we've got all the moves. If you've heard of something, read about something that has to do with diastasis healing, we have the exercises, we have the manual strategies. Anything conservative to heal that abdomen is at our disposal. That is who we are. That is what we do. Now, what is our solution? Again, we get around those insurance limitations so that your expert therapist can answer your questions and not have any piece of their brain dedicated to insurance guidelines. It's a cash-based model, and it works so well. We accept either regular credit cards or the HSA FSA cards, if you guys have those. Now, for some, if you're looking to get reimbursed, you can check into your out-of-network benefits. Be amazing if you had those. Lots of companies, insurance companies, have high deductibles. Listen here, guys, this is so important. When you have a high deductible, you are paying cash everywhere you go until you hit that high deductible. They are so high nowadays, guys. Many patients will be in October, November, December, and still not hitting that deductible. You're paying cash anyways. You deserve to put your cash towards something that you know is going to work and that you want to do. You want to do. Now, this is a lovely testimonial, but we're running out of time. All right, let's talk about alternative options. If you're concerned that therapy is going to be cost prohibitive or take too much time and you want to just jump into a tummy tuck, we're talking a minimum of 10 grand. The amount of time you'd have to take off of work or to just be not lifting and caring for your babies is around that 4 to 6 week mark. This is the most important part, guys, about any kind of surgery, diastasis repair. You will still need to take time after surgery, after that 4 to 6 weeks, to then rehabilitate. You are looking at a road to rehab, whether you do the surgery or not. And now, to be so clear, we serve women who have done surgery. I understand there is a time and a place for that. There is. It is far less than we think, but there is. If you do nothing, what if you're like, well, this was a nice webinar. Thank you for serving me for free on YouTube for a little bit. Let me get back to my Thursday afternoon. What if you do nothing? And you continue to work out here and there or work out consistently. And every once in a while, your back acts up or your pelvis acts up, and you're like, oh, I wonder if it's being contributed to by my diastasis. Or you go to Pilates classes or you get a personal trainer and like, they don't really know. And you're like, I don't really know. Or you do a monthly app and you're doing the exercises at home and you're like, ah, and you kind of like part of you feels frustrated or confused, or you just wish you had that clarity because you've done nothing. You didn't do the surgery. You didn't do the therapy. Here's why you deserve to take the next step. Stay with me, guys. These services are valued really high. We're talking about doctors of physical therapy, 7 years of college and expert training, and they're in my company learning from all of the experience of all of the amazing therapists that is in the team. The initial evaluation alone is valued between $750 to $900. Just that first visit. We're able to bring that solution to your front door for only $325. And you know what? It's not the 20 minutes that you'll get at the clinic. It is a full hour. You'll get your follow-up treatments, which are valued at $500 to $600 for only $250. And then when you purchase them ahead of time, you will save even more. Some of our patients are seen for only $190 per visit when they purchase more visits up front. I can't get a plumber to come to my house and fix my toilet for under $300, you guys. This is such a great deal. And now listen, I know we have moms joining us from all over the world. So if you are looking for that virtual care, which I highly recommend, take that first step. Your initial eval is valued around the $400 to $500 mark. We are only charging $180, only $180 for that 60 minutes through a computer with an expert PT. And the follow-up treatments are significantly less than they're valued at, all right? Right around that $170 to $180. But you're still here. You signed up for a random webinar and you are still watching almost an hour later. So because you stuck with us, you guys, you will see two buttons at the bottom of your screen. And if you're on YouTube, there'll be in the description link. If you're on the main page, the Kajabi page, where you first logged in, underneath you got to scroll under. It says special offer. You're going to see book in-home eval or a virtual eval. You are going to save even more money because you're taking action right now. Not the $325 for that in-home eval, but you are going to purchase it for only $250. We spend that at dinner when the four of us go out to a nice restaurant. I'm not saying you shouldn't go out. It's Mother's Day weekend. You should go out. And you should allocate at least that much towards your abdomen, towards answering your questions. Now, listen, the in-home is limited and it's location dependent. If you're in South Florida between Jupiter through Miami, the chances of us being able to come to your home are pretty high. If you're outside of the Tampa area or the South Florida area, you can purchase that virtual evaluation for only $125. You guys, $125. How quickly do we spend $125 these days? From there, we'll show you a flexible treatment plan, and those options can be paid monthly. Before you hop off, because you guys are still here with me. How many are still here? Almost 70 moms still here, you guys. This is huge. This is huge. Yes, you should stop peeing your pants for Mother's Day. I know. And it is a great deal. It's so worth it. It's so worth it. I want you to take just one more minute, ladies. Just one more minute. Pause and imagine what your life will feel like when you feel good in your body again. No pain, no bulging abdomen, no fears or concerns when you exercise. Imagine what it feels like to be confident in the clothes you're wearing. Like super confident. Yes, the best Mother's Day present. Yes, Emily. Yes. If you could go to any exercise class and just do what they're saying and not be like, oh, I have to modify. Oh, I shouldn't be doing. Oh, I had a baby. I can't. You have no worries about hurting yourself. You're not doubting. You're not confused. What would it mean to you if you got your sexy back? Do you have to have a flat abdomen to feel sexy? No. I haven't had a flat abdomen in 10 years. But when I know that I can strengthen my abs, I don't feel broken. I don't feel less than. I feel confident in my skin. My husband sees it. My family sees that confidence. My daughter, who watches me all the time, watches my every move. She knows that mommy feels confident and strong. How do we set this up? What you're going to do. Thank you, Tammy, so much for asking. And this is some of my fabulous crew. Round of applause for the therapists at Painless Pregnancy. They are why we can do what we do. Yes. So, ladies, you're going to scroll up and you're going to see book an in-home evaluation or book a virtual. This is what you're going to process today, right now, take you through just purchasing that. And then what we're going to do is we are going to send you communication. You'll immediately get an email with how to register and how to schedule. So we've got lots of front desk ladies standing by. As soon as we start seeing those emails roll in, we're going to be calling and texting, reaching out to you to get it on the books. Okay. Again, if you feel confident, you're in the South Florida area, anywhere from Jupiter through Miami, or if you are in the Tampa area, all my Tampa moms, thank you so much for joining. Book that in-home evaluation. You're just purchasing it right now, and then we're going to process the scheduling stuff later. Okay. I am so proud of you guys for joining our webinar about you. How many of these have you done for your babies? How many would you do? And you are equally important and valuable in this world. Your health, your well-being is why your baby is thriving. You are why they are thriving. So take this step. You're going to click that link, either virtual or in-home. And if you don't know, buy virtual and we'll upgrade you when we call. If you're like, eek, that's a big step. I'm going to talk to my husband. I don't know. Let me think about it. No more thinking about it. If you are pregnant or postpartum, yes, Marwa, thank you so much for that question. And I can't wait to see you have a cooking show. Guys, we should check out Marwa's cooking show after this. Yes, if you're pregnant, absolutely, we can serve you, whether it's diastasis, back pain, any of the conditions we talked about, or if you just want to avoid those, which is lovely, avoid those. Cassie's here with a 2.5-year-old and a 6-month-old from San Antonio. Thank you so much for being here. And Dr. Simone is waving. Tammy, thank you so much. Yes, ladies, you're going to click that button, take the first step for yourself today. And if there's any question, any concern, all you're going to tell your partner is, it's Mother's Day weekend. Obviously, I'm doing this because there are no rules on Mother's Day. It's all about you. So ladies, thank you so much for joining. You're going to have access to that link for the next 5-10 minutes, and then it's going to close out. We do have a hard and fast limit on how many moms we can serve. So if you're interested, click that link now. If you're in the South Florida area between Jupiter and Miami, or if you're in the Tampa area, you can absolutely purchase that in-home. And if you're coming from anywhere else, you're going to click the virtual, purchase that, and we're happy to upgrade you to in-home if it works. Okay? So thank you guys so much. I'm going to answer a few more questions that you all had. Does working on diastasis help incontinence? Yes. Yes, Emily, it does. They are correlated. Your abdominal wall and your pelvic floor are sisters. They co-contract, they behave similarly, and they support each other. So one will help the other. Yeah. And have you seen moms with joint disorders be able to heal without surgery? Been doing PT for 3 days a week since February and noticed very little difference. 3-finger separation and deep. Okay, so 3 months is a long time for rehab, and 3 days a week is a lot. So you should be seeing some difference. I'm curious, Gloria, if your therapist sees a difference, because sometimes I notice the difference and the patients are, because you see yourself every single day, it's hard to notice. And if you have any doubts, let's do a virtual. Click that link below. It's only going to be there for about 5 more minutes, guys. So you want to make sure you do. Tamara, loose skin. Yes. Yes. The combination of fascial release, aligning your rib cage, and then typically the hypopressives, which is a vacuum technique, loose skin can improve. It can. I mean, none of us will look 17 again, unfortunately, but I know that's not what you're asking. You want to know if your loose skin can be better, and it can. Absolutely. Good question. And Marwa, you don't live in the South Florida area. That's okay. That's okay. Let's do a virtual. I want you to believe in my belief. I've seen virtual care help these women over and over again. We didn't stop because COVID left, because the quarantine was over. We stopped. And then more women needed therapy from outside our area, and they got better. We have a therapist who is nearly full-time with us, and she does telehealth. That's Almost all she does with Painless Pregnancy is telehealth. She has patients who continue to see her and they get better. Tamara, thank you so much for being here. I'm excited. I see all these purchases. Look at that. You guys, I'm so excited. This is wonderful. What if it doesn't work for me virtually? Yeah, I feel like I do better in person. I get it. I get it. Yeah. Let's do the virtual. There is magic that happens when an expert is watching you through the screen. There are things that can get better. And we can start today. And if we can help you find someone that's local, amazing. Let's go. Let's do it. But what I fear is if you don't take action today, then tomorrow will come and go, and next week will come and go, and months will come and go, and you'll be like, oh yeah, remember that one time I watched that webinar? And you won't have taken action. Marwa, take action today. I'm going to be your big sister. Take action today. Let's meet virtually, and let's get this party started. All right, ladies, I am so glad that you joined. Thank you kindly from the bottom of my heart. I respect deeply your time, your energy, your focus. And you can click that link. We're going to see if we can leave it active because I know people are purchasing quite a bit right now. So let's leave it active for the next 5 minutes, and then we'll go from there. All right. Thank you, guys. You're welcome.